welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. I am back for another Scraplift Crafternoon. This is a hop that was put on or started by Anna from Peace Craft Love and Kimberly from I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking. Each week we choose a layout from somewhere on the internet, most often a YouTube layout, but lately we've been pulling a lot of Instagram layouts. And this week we are scrap lifting Cropcat from Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel, which I will link below in the description box. There will also be a collaborative playlist below that you can click and just watch everybody who's participating this week and check out how they interpret this layout, which I'm going to put up here in the corner for you. It is such a fun layout. She used the March 2023 Hip Kit Club kits to create this layout. I think she had a little bit of everything from every kit that Hip Kit put out that month. I know that she played with the color kit, which included the inks and stamps. And I also love in her video that she talked about some of the old things that we used to do when we didn't have a lot of stash. What she did in her video is she printed her letters for her title backwards on cardstock, flipped them over, inked that cardstock, and then cut them out herself. And that is actually something that I used to do as a brand new scrapbooker when I didn't have very many things. I made a lot more handmade embellishments than I do now. Maybe that's something that we all should revisit in the near future. But anyway, let's get back to this. I have chosen Spectrum Sherbet because I have been hoarding this like a crazy person. Now, I bought both patterned paper packs from this, the actual classics and the solids both. And on my desktop, I only have the two product pieces from them because I'm going to be cutting out some of these elements for my layout on both sides. I did pull out a sheet of the pattern paper, and I'm going to be honest with you, it was really hard to pull this out because of course both sides are gorgeous, but I'm going to be using this side. Now, Cropcat, of course, she inked her paper with her inks from the Hip Kit, and I'm cheating and I'm going to use a mostly done background, but this will come around and look a little bit like hers. The colors are similar. I also pulled a set of close to my heart alpha stamps that I absolutely adore. This is a Hip Kit stamp that I think I'm going to incorporate, and I'm going to use these letters as well as this last phrase from that set of thickers for part of my title. Now, I just love her title, so I will be using that. This is me with two of my children. These are my youngest two children. I have 5 altogether. Everybody's 18 and older now, but this photo was taken in September of 2015, right after we moved to Clarksville, Tennessee, where my husband was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And if that confuses you, don't let it confuse you, because Fort Campbell, Kentucky literally straddles the 2 states of Tennessee and Kentucky. My husband's office was in Kentucky. There was a field in between it and the commissary was in Tennessee. So it was an interesting military base, especially if you homeschool like we do. I lived off base, so I didn't have this issue, but a lot of the homeschoolers really had to pay attention where they had to send their letters of intents for their schools, because some of them lived in Kentucky, others lived in Tennessee. It was quite a mess. Anyway, that's besides the point. I pulled in some of these film strip frames. This is from a newer collection called Everywhere. I do not have much of that collection. I might have a sheet of paper in these, and that's it. I did not buy the full Spectrum Sherbet embellishments because there were so many to choose from, and I kind of stuck with the Tidal Wave color family in those. So I don't know if I'm going to be pulling much from either of those packages, but we'll see. I do think I'm going to use either the orange or the green film strip for my layout. And of course, these two sheets that are the front pages of the collections, plus this background. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna stamp these with my black ink on probably watercolor paper because I am gonna watercolor them. Anyway, I'll be right back. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you I lied. I ended up stamping these on the cover sheets from these collections, and as you can see, I stamped them, and then I fussy cut all of the elements that I thought I might use for this layout. I don't think I put anything back in the collection when I was done, except for maybe one of the film strips that I pulled out and didn't end up using. So I've pulled out a whole bunch of inks here, and I am going to use that little heart stamp from Hip Kit to create some more ink spaces on my background. But first I'm going to go ahead and mat this photo. I pulled out one of the little pieces from the Tidal Wave ephemera pack to mat my photo, and then a frame from the Everywhere film strips pack. It had frames as well as film strips. So I pulled out this stamp because the original creator had a little sticker right there up in the corner, and I didn't pull stickers or anything, and I was going to stamp this image. I forgot that this stamp set was one piece, so I'm just going to improvise, as you saw that I did right there, and I stamped it using my hands. It's not a perfectly clear stamped image, and that is perfect for this background. Now I'm going to mark the spots for where my photo goes so that I remember and I'm getting the right sets of colors. I go ahead and just ink all the way across this. Even though I marked that, I marked it so that I know where I wanted my photo to land when I was finished. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to ink each color along the swipes of color on the background. I'm going to double stamp some dark, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the stamp a second time and get a lighter stamped image. That works out pretty good, and I'm quite pleased with the effect that I get here. I am cleaning my stamp off in between each color. I know you can only kind of see that over there in the corner. I was doing it close to my body, but you can see that I have a paper towel there, and I'm just spritzing water on it and wiping it off in between colors so that I don't get a mix up of colors. See there, you can see that I'm doing it. So I was really pleased with how these Distress Oxides matched with the Spectrum Sherbet collection. It looks like these inks were created for this collection, or maybe the collection created for these inks. I thought that was kind of awesome. I chose these colors based on that and just kind of guessed how they would end up looking. So I'm really pleased that they match as well as they do. Now that I've completed my background, I'm going to go ahead and start building this layout. I am going to go ahead and glue this photo down, and then I'm going to use my Scotch quick dry glue to glue the frame down here in a second. There we go. I don't know that this is the best glue for these frames, but it's what I have that I know will stick, and I'm trying to make sure I don't put a lot on it, so in case it would show, it's not glaringly obvious. So next I'm going to build this little embellishment cluster that is to the left of the photo on the sketch that we're using, or the layout that we're using. I'm just putting that film strip there as a landing point, because first I want to build the floral elements that was on the piece of patterned paper from Hip Kit. I actually have this Hip Kit collection and I have not used it, so I could have just pulled it out and used it, but I really wanted to use this collection because, like I said, I've been hoarding it like a crazy person, and it is just time for me to go ahead and break into it. So I build that little floral element down in the lower left corner. I get the embellishment cluster on the top right of the photo, and I'm working on the embellishment cluster to the left of the photo. So my next steps is to put down those tickets. Now I'm adding this to my layout. It is not in the original layout, and this is where I'm going to put some journaling. And I just thought fussy cutting out those pieces from the cover sheet of the collections was a good way to use them and not break into anything else. I could have pulled in labels. I have lots of labels. I have an entire binder full of labels, but I wanted to go ahead and use those ticket pieces. And now I'm just kind of laying things out. I'm going to get this title. I did not use her full title. I just used part of it. And this is a phrase on a set of, I think I called them thickers at the beginning of the video. Believe it, they were actually not thickers. They're from another company. I got them in a huge peachy cheap buy not too long ago. And so I only had the word live left on the one sheet, and I wanted to get that used and off my desk. This is a set of alpha thickers, and they're a little bit smaller than the word live, so I'm going to kind of center them. I know this title's not on there perfectly straight yet, but because they're foam stickers, they're very easy to pick up and straighten out later, and I'll do that off camera and get them a little bit straighter. I'm just kind of trying to get this title in here so that I know where to glue down everything when I turn off the video to glue. You already saw that I had to kind of push down my journaling spots because they weren't fitting where the title was, and that is why they weren't glued down yet. I wanted to make sure that I had room. So now I'm just going to get the rest of this title on here, and then I will push everything back up so that I can start gluing things down. All right, I am all done. I glued all of the things down, and I realized that the original creator did a lot more stamping, and she added some clear stickers from the hip kit, and I could have done that as well. I actually own that hip kit. I don't think I've cut into it at all, so I probably have all of the elements that she used, but I really was trying to make myself open up this 49 Market collection. Colors are close, the background is already kind of inked. I just added some heart stamps, and I built a floral custard cluster down here in the corner, similar to the one that is printed on the hip kit paper, and just kind of made this my own. I'm happy with the way it turned out, and this is how it's going to end up. So I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I know that you can get your inspiration anywhere on the internet, and I appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. If you are not a subscriber, I would love to have you click that subscribe button. YouTube will notify you when I put up new content. I strive for 3 to 4 times a week during a regular month, more often if I'm participating in a daily hop like 30 days of sketches, and I would love to have you come and check me out. So you have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.